Hi, this is Elsa P. I'm back on the topic of synastry, which is the study of astrology and relationships, but I'm going to get there in a way that's tricky by elaborating on my Pluto moon transit. Now, the moon in astrology represents your roots, and a Pluto transit to the moon is going to uncover what is deeply rooted inside of you, or what an Italian person would say is in the blood. Now, I'm an interesting case study because while I'm Italian, I didn't grow up around other Italians. I grew up in the middle of the desert, and I find that I still resonate with Italian people. I still act like an Italian. My mother is also from the desert. She's from a little town in Arizona. She rode a horse to school. At this time, today there's only 50 people living in this little town. So when she was born in the 30s, there was nobody there at all. So she also didn't grow up around Italians. That's the point, the moon being my mother. So somehow you still resonate with Italian things. So today I wrote about running into this Italian guy in the grocery store. Just bam, we just ran into each other and we stopped dead in our tracks because I couldn't help but see him, and there isn't so many Italian people around here really, and he was very Italian and I'm very Italian, so we just stopped dead. And Italian people would call that the thunderbolt. The thunderbolt is dramatized in the movie The Godfather. Michael gets struck by the thunderbolt in Italy when he sees Apollonia, and he falls in love, and they get married. So the soldier and I, we were struck by the thunderbolt, and this is something Italian people understand. So what I want to tell you is about, they think that there's a deeper level. With the moon, these things are, they're not taught, they're instinctual. Okay, so this is what happened when we met. He's from a culture that if you meet a girl if you see a girl you like, you don't just walk up and ask her out. You have to go through her father, and if a girl sees a boy that she's interested in, she goes and gets her brother or something and sends the brother to go tell him that she's interested. And this is how they do this in this indirect way. There's a courting ritual. So this is how the soldier was raised, and this is what he was taught. I was taught nothing of the sort. But when I met the soldier, quite oddly, I met him, and I was struck by this thunderbolt. We're struck, and I went down to my apartment, and I got my roommate, who was a man, with the equivalent of my brother, and I said, go down there, go get him, go tell him, go invite him to dinner, acting in accord with my culture that I was never taught. So when my roommate went down, to the apartment to get the soldier and invite him to dinner, the soldier recognized that. Oh, this is my tribe, see? And that's how we got together. And it was not till, 25 years later, I told him I did not do this in a conscious way, but that's how, old-time Italian people get together. So here's what I wanted to say about synastry. This does not show in a chart, okay? So, for example, I'm compatible with, say, the soldier. Well, if you put him and you put somebody, an astro twin, you put two men, the same exact chart, I'm going for him. I'm going for the dark-haired man. And this is something astrology can never tell you, but I'll tell you what astrology can tell you. It can tell you that I am a deeply rooted person, and so inclined to go for the other Italian, the person operating on that kind of level. So it can tell you that. But I just want to point out again the limitations of astrology, because the chart doesn't tell you if the guy has blonde hair. And if he has blonde hair, I'm not going to go for him, because I will always get my head turned by the dark-haired man. And this, here again, back to the astrology, what the astrology will show you is I'm incredibly loyal. So how I would not be with a man where someone else is going to constantly turn my head. So see, this is what astrology can do and can't do. This is Elsa P. at elsaelsa.com. See you next time.